Live from Mobile, Alabama for the 2023 Reese's Senior Bowl. Welcome to hour number 4 of Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors, with our 11-year NFL veteran, Ramon Foster, with our broadcast veteran, Kayla Anderson, Jonathan Schaefer back in our 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Will Bowling, and we are pleased to be joined by Tennessee Titans General Manager Ran Carthon, sitting down with us here in Mobile. What's going on, Ran? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm still getting used to that introduction.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's been cool. Just feel like really welcome.
That's
being in Nashville and still getting my bearings. Still haven't been to too many places outside of the facility and the hotel, but I'm excited. Still, that excitement is still there.
Well, I want to congratulate you first on making it out of the boom boom room as well in your first visit on the station. I don't know if we're going to be quite as hard hitting as Ron Slay was in your first conversation on the station, but we're glad you made it out alive.
Yes, I think it was a couple questions in there. Ron tried to set me up. I was like, man, I hadn't even been in Nashville 24 hours, and you're trying to get me banished already. So I had to hold my own and make it out.
Well, you didn't let us out as far as Tennessee fans go.
Okay, so
go ahead, run it.
I didn't hear this part.
Let's bring it back because we were talking about this off air.
We were.
Okay. So it was a setup, right? Because you had me choose between Miami, Florida State, and Tennessee. He threw Tennessee in there because he wanted to set me up with a fan base. So I could have easily sent UT into
the abyss.
Yeah. But I at least let UT live.
You did.
And at least we know where UT is. It's in the basement.
Well, Ran, just real quick, if we're not, for folks that don't know, who won last year? Do you remember that one?
Was that COVID year? I can't
Still
remember.
A little foggy.
I just got hired. I got so many things on my mind. I'm at the Senior Bowl. I've talked to so many players. I can't remember.
That's what we're doing. Deflection at an all-time high here.
You talked with us at your opening press conference about your first order of business was really just getting to know head coach Mike Vrabel over the next couple of weeks, and now you have the chance to do this on the road in a much bigger setting when you're actually evaluating players. Right. What's it been like getting to know him, and how much do you just feel like you guys have been able to collaborate early on?
Well, it's been great. We make a conscious effort to spend time together every day, whether it's talking through roster, whether it's just talking through life. He's been a confidant for me in terms of, areas to live, potential schools, and he and his wife, Jen, have been great to my wife and I. So that was, the first piece of it. And then from a football perspective, we're just constantly talking, constantly bouncing ideas off of each other. And I think the biggest thing I've learned about Mike is very perceptive. And you kind of think you know what Mike Vrabel is by watching him on TV, but I think he's a lot more knowledgeable than people give him credit for. I think he's perceptive. I think he understands this process that we're going through right now, which makes it easier for me to do my job.
And how much could you kind of even bond over both kind of knowing the game, playing at the NFL level, and just the football knowledge, I feel like would bring you guys together even more?
Yeah, I think it creates that common ground. And like I said in the presser, it was our base of football. Our foundation of football basically comes from the same tree. So, him having, his time in Pittsburgh, his time in New England, and my, under Belichick came under Parcells. That's who my dad played for, who my dad worked for, and who, my dad is my influence in football. So our foundation is generally the same, so we see it kind of the same way.
Ryan, I thought it was very interesting, and one of the first things you said when asked the question is you got to figure out – you got to learn Mike Vrabel. I think a lot of people can look at that and be like, well, what does that mean? You're going to do exactly as Vrabel, says? Explain to them exactly what that means, because your partnership, your collaboration, and you learning Vrabel is y'all's relationship as far as how successful you're going to be.
Right, and like I've said and like I'll keep saying, the one way I saw it work the best was with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch.
Sure.
And those two guys are, joined at the hip. They're in lockstep, and they don't always agree. but there's a common ground that they can find to make the best decision for the organization. And again, Mike's been here for 5 years. Mike's offense is what it is, his defense is what it is, special teams is what it is, and it's my job to execute the vision and find those players that fit that. And the best way for me to do that as the new guy coming in is to establish my relationship with them, and then understand what we want to build, understand what it looks like to play right tackle for a Mike Vrabel team. So I have to come in and learn those ways, you know. And again, I think when it all boils down to it, I think people are always looking from a who's in charge, and makes it an ego thing, and that's not who I am. You know, and again, like, I could be the greatest talent evaluator there ever was, but if I'm bringing players to our team that don't fit what we want to do, then it's not going to work. And so that's my job, is to get to know Mike, understand what makes Mike tick, what Mike's looking for in players, and then that way my staff and we can go out and hunt and bring that back to Mike and his staff.
Titans GM Ran Carthon with us this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Ran, I love the video of you grading Derrick Henry's outfit.
I know, right?
Going into the stadium. The follow-up I have to that is, have you been able to get an invite to work out with Derrick yet, with all the stuff that he's doing?
I want no parts of that, right? Those days are over. But no, it's funny. You know, I've been reaching out, really getting to know a lot of the guys, and Derrick and I were on the phone. I guess it was last week. Had a really good conversation. It was 20 minutes or so, and then probably about 15, 20 minutes after we got off the phone, I got a text about that video, and he was like, "Hey man, I saw you, judging." My drip. He was like, now I get to watch and see what type of drip you have. So I assured him that I need to step my game up.
And wait, was it George Foster who told us that you don't always dress that way?
He said you a fraud with the clothes, man.
No, so let me preface by saying,
let's get this straight.
When I'm in the building, I like to be comfortable.
Okay.
Yes.
Right? Like, I'm not coming in knotted up,
absolutely,
sitting at my desk for umpteen hours watching tape. There's a time and a place to put on clothes.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that philosophy.
Fair enough.
But I am a sweats, hoodie, and slide guy. However, there's a time and a place to. So I still have stuff in my closet that I hadn't worn. That if you ask my wife, we need to have a garage sale. We need to, get rid of. I was FaceTiming my wife the other night, and she's in the closet, and she's walking to my side. I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing?" and she was like, "I'm just trying to find. I'm pruning. I was like, "Don't touch."
I know where it's
stuff,
at.
We're
like,
good. Right.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to call Big False.
I knew you'd get riled up. I was going to bring that up
He's
to
a problem, man. You hear me? He's a problem out
Listen,
here.
I talk to that dude every day, and it's every day is new with George. It's always some shenanigans or something going on with him. Yeah.
What are you guys looking for here at the Senior Bowl? I mean, look at all the talent that's out there and just the amount of time you get to spend with these guys this week, talking with them. What are you guys looking for as a Titans organization?
I think you just hit on the biggest thing, is getting to talk to these guys, right? The tape is the tape. We've had time. Our area guys have done an amazing job. Pouring through the tape, identifying, the players, and then we're going to still have a couple more months to get through the tape. I think this is important, to have the guys in front of you and to answer some of those hotbed questions, to really get to know them, get your hands on them, get a feel for them, because you don't always get that, from my view, from Mike's view. So I think it's awesome that Mike is here and he's participating in the interviews, and so, he can ask his pointed questions, or, just guys that he wants to get a better feel for. So I think the interview setting is really key for us right now, because at the end of the day, the tape is the tape, and we'll have plenty of time to pour through that and make the correct decisions, but making sure that we're finding the right people, separating the player and the person, making sure we're finding the right people for us.
And I love the story you told about Elijah Mitchell and that draft process and identifying him in San Francisco, a Senior Bowl guy in Elijah Mitchell, who was going through this process at his time as well. What are those personality traits you and Mike are looking for in players? What specifically about these guys do you want to learn in this interview process?
You just want to learn, do you love football? That's one of the things you want to learn. Do you love football? You want to talk to them about their work ethic. And then it's another opportunity to get them in front of, let's talk X's and O's. Let's see how much you really know. Let's see where your baseline, knowledge is and where we're getting it from that standpoint. And then having guys like, James Mitchell here with us, kind of really dig in deep into the person, learning what, their background, learning how these different guys came up so we can, best surround them with all the proper tools to make them successful.
I'm curious, too, with the amount of super seniors you have in this process and guys who are 24 or 25 years old, do you feel like you can have even more advanced conversations now with this group and with these past couple of groups, just considering some of them have played for 5-6 years?
Yeah, but then again, yes, a 25-year-old, 24-year-old is going to be a little bit further along from a maturity standpoint than a 21, 22-year-old. But nonetheless, these guys are still college guys,
right.
Coming straight from the college scene. So, a person of my age, you have to be aware of that and know that there is going to be a little bit of a disconnect. However, again, it goes back to, do you love football? Are you a worker? How clean are you off the field? I firmly believe in, they're only players when they're in the building.
Yeah.
And they're people outside. So you got to get to know the person just as well as you know the player.
So when it comes down to this setting, now is the opportunity for you to figure out, do they love football, how they compete, watching the practices, the one-on-ones. What position groups are the ones that you say they're going to get the most out of this? Is it O-line versus D-line? Is it secondary guys that you can say, well, his 40 might be a 4.6 as a DB, but it don't look like that on the field? Is that where you get this?
I don't think there's short answer, yes. Because we look at it as there's time, speed, and play speed.
Okay.
And you know this.
Yeah.
And some of that doesn't necessarily have to do with I think a lot of it has to do with their instincts.
Okay.
How well they see things. If you're instinctive, you can do things a little bit quicker because you're not thinking.
Right.
Because there have been guys that ran 4.3 that might have played 4.5 because they can't think and move at that rate of speed.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one position over the other that it's like, oh, this is the best position to watch. I think it's year to year in terms of draft class. Which positions are stronger than others. Down here you got best on best.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's about seeing the competition, seeing who's stepping up. You kind of usually see it. I remember the one battle I remember seeing here at Senior Bowl was when Aaron Donald came out.
Oh,
and so you had Aaron Donald, you had Zach Martin. And so those two guys had some real battles.
It got violent.
Well, it was, it's just the way they play.
Yeah,
you know
it
what
is.
I mean? And Aaron being a technician and Zach being a technician, and they had some real battles. And we were talking about at that time, both guys were potential top 10 picks, and for them to step up, and it wasn't like, okay, they went one rep against each other. There was 3-4 reps throughout the week where they got work, with each other. So you want to see those guys who are going to, step up and want to rise and face the best guy who they think is the best guy.
And how much can you evaluate on just, like you said, picking things up quickly, making adjustments on the fly? How can they take to coaching? Because you're seeing it firsthand. Yeah,
so I mean, it's in these conversations, it's in these informal meetings. Simply asking a question. Hey, what are you looking to work on this week? And guy may, hey, I want to be able to show them that, I can transition speed to power. So now that I know that, when you're doing the drill, now I want to see you working those techniques, not only in individual, when you get in one-on-one, when you get in a team setting, to see if their perception of themselves and what they feel they need to work on, if they're actually working on it or if it's just lip service.
Yeah.
Ran Carthon with us here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Just kind of on the way out, so cool to see this event grow so much. I know Jim Nagy said every player is going to meet with all 32 teams, which we said was kind of like speed dating in the NFL a little bit earlier this morning. But how cool has it kind of been to just watch this event grow over the years?
Man, it's been amazing. Jim's done like a fantastic job, growing this event, making it it's huge. And it means so much to, the city of Mobile, and you can see it and feel it. And then, it becomes the premier event where all the top guys want to be.
Right.
Coming out of college, you want to get, obviously you want to get a combine invite, but this game is, whether, give or take, is seen as the best. And so guys want to be here, and it makes it easier for us to come here and, all the quote-unquote top-rated guys are here under one roof because of the event that Jim's built.
Now, Ran, I know you're in a new position, man, and you're GM, and, the hierarchy's a little bit different now. I know you said when you flew back to San Francisco, you went commercial, okay? You FaceTime your wife in the terminal. I'm thinking to myself, that ain't Ran no more, man. How big was the jet on the way down? That's all I got for you, Ran.
Well, you know what? It was It was more so cool because my kids got to experience
That's
it.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And there was a moment. It was a moment on the plane. It was myself, my wife, and my agent. We were in the front handling business, and I'm looking at my 4-year-old, my 5-year-old, and they're just moving around, and I'm just watching them like this is cool for them at that age to experience this. I don't even know if they understand the magnitude of it. But it was just a cool thing to experience, and watching my teenage daughters just kind of just be them, and it was, like I said, man, I can ramble about it, but it was just cool for my kids to experience.
Yeah.
Sure.
I just don't want them to have in their mind that this is going to become the norm, because moving forward, Southwest 8,
Exactly.
1 through 15.
Get those points going.
Business select, right?
It fits us just fine.
I'm with you, man. And again, you came dripped in J's. I know one of your real good friends in this industry, and I know he's a Jordan guy, man, Brendan Hunt. Who got the freshest closet is all I'm asking.
Oh, me.
That's what I was looking for.
That's not even fair.
That's not
Shout
even-
out to your wife, though, for coordinating the family, Jay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's that was her concept. Because she called me and asked, FaceTime me, hey, what do you think about these? I was like, she had the kids shoe.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
yo, give me a pair.
Yes.
I want the Lowe's. And she was like, yeah. She was like, but you want the Lowe's? I was like, yes, I want the Lowe's.
That's
but
awesome.
please don't ever compare my closet to B Hunt's closet.
Straight up.
It's not.
See, if you were ever wondering that you had a competitor in the front office, you do. By the way, at the presser, I was there. Me and Kayla were both there, and I'll say this. I saw Vrabel. I don't think I played against Vrabes as a player, but I was just like, oh, okay, Vrabe, you might win a bar fight or two is all I was just
You're
thinking,
always
man.
sizing up defensive
I'm always
linemen.
sizing up D linemen, okay?
Listen, I don't think, you're a big dude.
Yeah.
I rock with you. I don't think that's the smoke you want.
No, see what I'm saying. See, Rand, that's what you're supposed to say now. Now you're going to get the other side here for a minute.
I'm just saying.
I'm just letting you know that, look, I'm choosing y'all two versus any other front office.
Me too.
Is all I'm
I'm
saying.
in.
We with it. We could be the Road Warriors or tag team champs. That might be a cool thing after the draft. I might need to get us some tag team belts.
I love it.
I know a guy.
Ran Carthon, our guest this morning on Ramon, Kayla and Will. Ran, the next time George Foster hits you with any kind of shenanigans and you need backup, we're constantly keeping that guy in check when Georgia plays Tennessee and anything.
Yeah.
So you just let us know, and you got some muscle here in the back.
Yeah, I need all the help I can get. Yeah. I know one thing for sure. If George ever FaceTimes me, I need to be in position and away, because I know as soon as I take that call, something crazy is on the other line.
Perfect. Ran, appreciate the time.
doubt.
Best of luck with everything, and
Congratulations.
congrats again on the
No,
job.
thank you guys.